I'm from the National Animal Health Forum, the Managing Director. We're an NGO which represents all the production organizations in South Africa. And what we try and do is get government and industry to speak to each other. And really, it's on health matters, so it's Department of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, Veterinary Services, to speak to production industries, private veterinarians and so on. And I just want to speak to you about a few things that we're doing at the moment. The first thing is, top of the pops is foot and mouth disease. You know that we have lost our foot and mouth disease status, and I think a number of the speakers mentioned that the beef industry is a big industry in South Africa. But not only the beef, if we take the beef industry, the wool industry, and the pig industry, that are all affected by foot and mouth. It's a lot of money. Our last FMD outbreak in northern KwaZulu-Natal in 2011 was estimated to have cost the country 6 billion rand. That goes a long way to land reform. This one, we don't know what it's going to cost. Hopefully it's going to be a lot less. The one last thing that the Animal Health Forum, National Animal Health Forum, and the production industries had a good working relationship with government. We had a very quick response. Can tell you that it's been 5 weeks. I got the report this morning. It's now been 5 weeks that we haven't had a new case of FMD in the FMD zone. That bodes very well for us. Okay, that really does bode well for us. Hopefully, we can sort this situation out a bit quicker and more professionally than the last one was done. The last one took us nearly 3 years to sort out. Hopefully, we can get this one sorted out. Definitely by the end of the year, but hopefully even sooner than that, which will open our markets. Some of the speakers today said a few things. One of them said that we need to start believing in South Africa again. I think 2 of them said that, and I think that's critical to me. Second thing is, we haven't got enough cattle in South Africa. We haven't. We need many more. We need to export cattle. And to export cattle, you need a proper disease control strategy, and you need proper identification and traceability. Brings me on to the second thing. The first thing is we're trying to control the foot and mouth. The second thing is we're trying to do and implement a livestock identification and traceability system in South Africa. I think most of you understand what the benefits of a livestock identification and traceability system are. But in basic, it's going to mean whether you can trade or can't trade 10 years from now. If you can't trace your animal and you can't prove the safety of your animal 10 years from now, maybe 5 years from now, you won't be able to sell it to a South African consumer. At the moment, the problem is you can't sell it overseas, which have already been stopped because of what's happened. We need to make sure the consumer wants one thing, the consumer wants safety. Not close safety, they want 100% safety. We have to find a way in which we can do that. Go onto our website, www.NAHF, National Animal Health Forum, and just have a look there, what's all being done. And the last thing I just quickly want to speak to you about, and I've got a committee meeting tomorrow, it's the FMD, what we call the FMD Market Access Committee. Remember that the FMD zone, the control zone, is all along the Kruger Park fence, from north to south, and then along the northern KwaZulu-Natal fence, the fence with Mozambique. There are a lot of farmers in those areas, and those farmers have one problem. They are at a disadvantage being able to market their animals because they are in an FMD zone in which they can't market their animals the way you can market your animals. The problem with that is that they're being disadvantaged to all your advantage. So you're being advantaged by these people being disadvantaged. And I think once you start understanding that, then you start understanding that you've got a problem. You can't tell me it's not my problem. It is your problem. Because these people didn't have access, because they didn't have grazing, they moved animals out of their zone into our free zone. They were picked up. Now nobody can export. Maybe it hasn't made such a big effect, except the price did drop by 20% the moment we had FMD. I don't think that 2, 3, 4%, 2, 3.5% of animals that of meat that we export made the difference. But it's market sentiment that drove those prices down. It's going to come back. It's not a problem. It's already back most of the way. But it does cost money. I would like, especially the feedlot industry, to think about how do we give these people that are in that area, that are being disadvantaged, that are making it possible for the rest of us to farm in South Africa, how do we assist them in being able to market their animals? Now there's lots of ways in which we can do it, putting feedlots up in the area, marketing in the very high class tourist areas, including the Kruger National Park. These are all things we're looking at, but we need support from the industry. And I'd like to just ask you all, just to, when you go back, just think about how do you support initiatives that are in the general interest of South Africa. Livestock identification, traceability is important for all of us. If we don't get it in place, we will not be farming in 10, 15 years. Yes, you'll be farming, but you won't be farming profitably. These FMD control areas are there to safeguard the rest of the country. The rest of the country needs to get involved in solving these solutions. Please work through Dewald. Dewald's one of the directors of the, not yet, hopefully he will be, he is, a director of the National Animal Health Forum. All the production industries are represented there. So please take your problems through them, otherwise take them straight to me. Just visit the website. Let's see how we as South Africans can work together, not only to solve the land reform issue. And I don't see Nick here anymore, but Nick, I think it's the third time I've heard you speaking, and it's the third time I've been impressed. Thanks a lot. And to the rest of you, please see if you can support us. Thanks.